In Psalm 127, we are told that unless the Lord builds the house, those who build labor in vain. And unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. These words are brought to life as we read the preamble of the Philippine Constitution, an attempt to build a country dedicated to God. We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society and establish a government that shall embody our ideals and aspirations, promote the common good, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of independence and democracy. Under the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace, do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. We affirm that yes, the Filipino people believe that with the aid of the Almighty, we can build an amazing society, one filled with happiness and prosperity, brought about by faith in God, hope for the future, and love for our fellow men. It is time to build relationships that are stronger than our disagreements, build communities that are able to embrace our differences, and to build a Philippine nation united in its fight against this virus and against every other challenge that we will face as a people and as a nation. In the past 10 years of steady economic growth, if it has taught us anything, it is that our nation can overcome whatever challenge is placed before us. The dream of economic parity with our Asian neighbors can easily be a reality if, as a spiritual people, we continue to fight corruption in all areas of society and pray for guidance as we try to do what is right, gawin ang tama, in a world where doing wrong can be so convenient and can be so well rewarded. Sadly, while the decade of success has shown us how high we can go, it also exposed our vulnerability to natural disasters like the COVID-19 or the new coronavirus pandemic. It showed us that the metrics used by our society for success, money, power, and position, are not only irrelevant in dealing with this crisis, they can at times even be a distraction and a hindrance to finding the right connection with the people in finding solutions. At this time, when the whole world is facing crisis, a crisis unprecedented in scale, at least during our lifetime, the Filipino people expect that we, their elected representatives, will speak with all honesty, candor, and humility, and this is what the situation demands. The enormity, the challenges, and the severity of the crisis we face require much faith, sacrifice, and hard work, not just from our leaders, but from each and every one of us. This is not the time to be unclear as to the intentions of this House of the People. Instead, we must speak frankly and truthfully, surely about our hopes and aspirations, but also, and perhaps more importantly, about our uncertainties and the fears that our people are facing. We cannot sugarcoat the fact that our way of life, what we once looked and took for granted as being normal, is completely, irrevocably, undeniably gone. It has forever been changed by this pandemic, and nothing we can do can bring it back. Everything from this point on should no longer be about recapturing the past. Huwag na po nating habulin yung kahapon. But we have to acknowledge in humility our mistakes, surviving the present and building a greater future. A great future depends on it. Humble ourselves, pray, discern, work hard. But definitely we need a plan We need a roadmap. These are the hard realities. I know for those of you who have lost loved ones, yung mga hindi man lang nakapagpaalam, lalo po doon sa biktima ng COVID na nasa isolation. At sa inyo po na mga nawalan ng trabaho, lalo po sa nawalan na ng trabaho na stranded pa ho at hindi makauwi. I expect that the very notion of someone telling you to move on is in itself offensive and hurtful. Wala po kaming masasabi that will not be insensitive. But that is not our intention. It's not our intention to just say move on or ignore the hurt that you are feeling. Please believe us, your representatives, when we say we understand your grief. Most of us may not have actually felt it, but we also have friends, relatives, and of course our constituents who are suffering, and we see the suffering. And it is precisely because we know that what you are going through that I cannot in good conscience stay silent on this. Grave illnesses require bitter medicine. We cannot afford to be weak, not at this time, not with this virus. For this, I am eternally grateful that God, in His wisdom and mercy, has granted us the leadership that the nation needs during this crisis. As I take comfort in the President's firm but fatherly hand, I am also supremely confident about the ability of the great nation to endure the worst, as it has endured, overcome, and prospered in the past. But our faith in God and our thankfulness for a good president doesn't mean he doesn't need help, and does not mean we should not pray for him, for the right advisors, guidance, health, and protection. Yes, there is a long, hard road ahead of us, but there is nothing in the Filipinos' character which tells me that we will be unequal to the task. On the contrary, the Filipinos have tempered and molded by the hardest of fates, and even during the darkest time of war, dictatorship, and economic crisis, or any other crisis that we have faced as a people, when the very politicians who were expected to lead the country forswore their duties and shrank from their responsibilities, it was the people themselves who proved that the Philippines will not go down easily. This is a reminder to our leaders. People will step up. So we have to do our best, and we cannot fail our people. These are the same people who saw the need for change in 2016 and against overwhelming odds chose the right candidate to lead us. And it is in them that my faith for a better future firmly rests. Let us not delude ourselves with the thought that Congress is primus inter pares or the first among equals. No, I am here to tell you that if we, members of their House, who must rise to the occasion and fulfill the mandate that the people have entrusted to us, not just to represent them in these halls, but to be truly one of them in our hearts, in our minds, and in our actions. Di po pwedeng sabihin tayo ang VIP dahil tayo representante nila. Baliktad po. Sila po ang VIP at tayo po ang lalaban para sa kanilang interes. It is in this spirit that we need to move together as one nation, move faster, move united in our goal to protect the weakest among us and create a better way of life, a better way of life for all Filipinos, not just for the privileged, the rich, and the powerful. Just to put things into perspective, a year ago, I spoke before this body with so much hope and confidence in our future. The economy was booming. We were riding high on a strong electoral showing by the administration. Poll after poll, the nation was finally feeling the effects of strong leadership of President Duterte. In other words, we were on our way to fulfilling promises of providing a safe and comfortable life for all. It was amid this backdrop of confidence and euphoria that Congress got off to a running start, and I have to thank the Majority Leader, Martin Romualdez, the Rules Committee, the Minority Leader Bishop Abante, and all the members of the House. We worked hard. We passed the budget in record time. It's a very good budget, as well as numerous key legislations, too many to enumerate, setting new records in productivity and efficiency compared to all other Congresses. We did this together, so thank you, brothers and sisters of the 18th Congress. When Taal erupted, bringing with it misery and grief for our kababayans in Batangas, Congress rose to the occasion and held a historic first session outside these halls and among our constituents. We went to them and listened to their problems, not as politicians looking for a vote, not as politicians wanted to be heard by our constituents, but as servants of the people seeking genuine solutions to their problems by listening to those who are most affected by the calamity. And even as we were struggling to cope with one crisis, the virus that now grips us was slowly rearing its head. Yes, this House did well in seeing the danger of COVID-19 and voicing our concerns as early as January. January pa lang po, paulit-ulit na tayo na we have to focus on this. Despite the political noise, despite the lobbying for different kinds of controversial topics, during this time, sinabi po natin, kailangan tayo ng Batangas at parating ang COVID-19. But none of us ever anticipated the scale of the devastation and dislocation it would eventually rock our country. Hindi po natin na-predict yun. Wala pong nakakita. The fight to defeat COVID-19 showed us the necessity of protecting the environment, not just as a natural resource, but as a matter of survival. It taught us the value of hope during those times where all seemed to be lost, and of fighting for what is right all the time, every time. It even inspired us to set aside personal animosities and work together for the good intentions to help our good nation. Right now, our greatest and most difficult task is to keep Filipinos safe and healthy while getting Filipinos back to work. Lives and livelihood. Buhay, kabuhayan. We need to build and retool those industries that have been gutted by this pandemic. And in this endeavor, the government will be playing a significant role. I propose we strengthen the agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing sectors, augmented by robust investment in infrastructure, all kinds of infrastructure, tourism-related infrastructure, agriculture-related infrastructure, infrastructure for education, for health, and of course for mobility. And of course, let's not forget, if this is an invisible enemy, there's also an invisible or not visible infrastructure, the infrastructure for the digital world. This can be the primary source of employment and growth, especially in rural areas. Let us take this opportunity to bring our kababayans home, not in boxes, but as the conquering heroes that they are. Properly supported and given the right opportunities, these returning OFWs will form the first wave of our offensive in the countryside. Armed with technology, training, and discipline, they have so much knowledge, they have learned so much from other countries. They have the ability to transform our economy practically overnight if we put the right plan in place. Let us look to the provinces as the new center of development. COVID-19 has shown us the weak underbelly of our big cities. How easy can they be brought down to their knees, and with it the whole nation, by disease and infection. We should never allow ourselves to be caught off guard again. This is a clarion call for all urban planners, engineers, and architects. The government, the people need you. We need your ideas. Help us build a better Philippines by decongesting our cities and spreading the wealth to every area, every island, every valley, every hilltop, every mountain in the country. Hand in hand with this, we look towards revitalizing the Philippine creative industry. Once the envy of Asia, but now a mere shadow its former glory. This week, the House leadership and anyone who would like to join us will be filing a bill that will establish the Department of Arts and Culture so that instead of being a casualty of COVID-19, Filipino creativity and artistry will be an integral part of our arsenal for recovery. And we will be targeting Asia and not just the Philippines. And when we say creative industry, this department will only be the first bill among others, because when we say creative, this includes, for example, robotics, performing arts, anything that's precisely created by the mind. We must approach this problem and prepare as if we are at war, which to a large extent we are, not with a foreign aggressor, not with a local insurgency, but with an unseen enemy that shows no mercy, gives no quarter, and takes no prisoner. And while it sometimes brings out the best in us, many times it also brings out the worst in us. In the face of an evolving enemy and a fluid battleground, Congress needs to continue to adapt, innovate, and manage. If we are to stay above water until a vaccine or cure is found, which by the most conservative estimates will not be viable until the end of the year or early next year at the soonest. In the meantime, we have to trust in God and remain strong. To the Filipino people, please know that we welcome your vigilance and ask you to continue to watch over this Congress and to cry the alarm whenever you see an abuse in our ranks. By all means, hold us to the highest standards of integrity and public service, but do not stand apart from us. We have to learn to agree to disagree. Hindi po pwede na kapag hindi tayo nag-agree, galit na galit tayo. Kasi isang katawan lang tayo. Isang bayan lang po natin. Be our brothers and sisters in arms for a better normal. This is your house. And together with God, seeking His guidance, seeking His mercy and forgiveness, let us continue to build and make it. Let us continue to build a strong nation. God bless the Philippines.